Okay, so I'm going to tell you an awesome story in 3 minutes. When I was 17, I was dating this girl I was obsessed with. A couple of months into our relationship, we had decided we wanted to have sex, but the problem was we had nowhere to do it. You see, my mom was always home, and her mom was always home, so our houses weren't an option. Plus, neither of us had our license, so we couldn't just go park somewhere. But then, one Sunday afternoon, I get a call from her. She tells me she has a plan. Her family had recently moved, and they hadn't sold their old house yet. The plan was, we have our parents drop us off in the Stonington borough, we walk 10 minutes to the empty house, we break in through our old bedroom window, we do the deed, and we get out of there. I know it wasn't a foolproof plan, but I was a virgin in high school. She could have told me she wanted to have sex on top of Mount Everest, and I would have booked the flight and found a website where I could rent an alpaca before I even hung up the phone. So basically I would have thought any plan would have been the greatest plan ever if I got to have sex. So anyways, we have our parents drop us off in the borough, and we start walking to the house, which in case you forgot, was only a short 10-minute walk. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes, and after 20 minutes we were still walking and only like halfway there. Oh, by the way, it was January, so it was like 20 degrees out. Meanwhile, the whole time we're walking, I'm looking over my shoulder for a Buick Skylark. You see, at the time her dad drove this 1989 white Buick Skylark, so I was paranoid he was going to drive by and be like, "What the hell are you guys doing out here?" And I swear to God, like, every car that drove by that day was a fucking Skylark. So anyways, after almost an hour of walking, we finally get to the house. We immediately go to the window, and of course the unthinkable happens. It's locked. So we started freaking out. We run around the house looking for a way in. When we were about to give up, I spotted a tool shed in our backyard. I'll never forget the next 7 words that came out of my mouth. Does that have a lock on it? So we're lying in the shed, having just done the nasties, just kinda chillin', and we started to hear some voices in the distance. We look outside and we see a real estate agent talking to a young couple and pointing at the house. So, once again, we started freaking out and putting our clothes on while the 3 of them started circling the tool shed. Now at this point, I just look up into the sky and think, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, John Ritter, who's ever out there, please get me out of this and I promise to be a better person. Well, someone must have listened to me that day, because for some reason they didn't come into the tool shed. So anyways, we watch them go in the house and we book it the second they're out of sight. On our long walk back to the borough, we spot a sign that has an arrow pointing at the house, and I shit you not, this sign said, "Open House." And that is why I don't fornicate in tool sheds anymore. Oh, in case you're curious about what happened to our relationship after that, about 9 months later, she left me for my best friend, and I haven't spoken to either of them since.